You know, I haven't been this mad at Three Stooges since the rising of the Shield Hero. There's just something so great about having characters that infuriate you that you want to see their heads on a spike just because they invoke such a visceral and raw reaction out of you. Within a singular episode, a city that's been built to such a degree that you just look at where our boy started out, episode 1, seeing where the nation of Tempest has gone, the allies we made along the way, the buildings we've made, and knowing that this isn't one of those shows where damage is just reversed. Look at that road that was tore up in Season 1. In Season 2, we see the repairs are still going on, even with the support of wealthy nations. Seeing these buildings aflame, seeing this city destroyed, Rimuru comes out of this as a victor. It's going to take a lot of rebuilding. Casualties galore, not even just with the people, but just what they've created. While the gut reaction wants to say they will win, what is victory when your home has been burned and all that is left is dust? I said it last week, how there's that voice in the back of my head saying, you know, we've all wanted something bigger and bigger to happen, but as soon as we see it, we know we're gonna wish that we can go back to that nice civilization builder where we build our Tempest nation and things like that. And this is just a taste of what's to come. These characters and the plan that they used in order to destroy the nation of monsters here is without a doubt a flawless plan. Even though it hurts me to say it, they had a damn good plan. Send in Three Stooges, cause a ruckus, and then have them ask for help when the allies return here. Like, the barriers, you're basically poisoning the monsters. They're in pain just being there. Rimuru is cut off from communication. He's cut off from being able to use most of his abilities. And you're going up against someone who, if stabbed 7 times by the sword, will kill you. And you don't expect another isekai moment to occur because Truck-kun is nowhere to be found. This show is so good, and if it wasn't for needing to recover content that was originally supposed to be in Season 1, but originally Season 1 was supposed to be a one-and-done thing, originally started out as a passion project, and then the committee's like, oh no, wait, this is popular, let's make more. We could have started from this pretty early on. But while we did have to have some rehashing of things we've seen in Season 1, and then we got all this new stuff, seeing what we built up, it really makes me appreciate the content in Season 2, even ignoring this, all the more. I knew it was going to build up to something. I knew that it wasn't always going to be happy-go-lucky, fun-time adventures for Rimuru and pals, but to see it all crumble, and the fact that they went so fast with it, like, last week you could say that's when it started to happen, but that still was the basic kind of like, oh, not much is really occurring, there's some words being thrown, and some punches are being swung. But this was the episode that really kickstarted everything, and it's chaos. To see a little monster girl crying as an army of humans marches in the name of peace and justice, it's like, Jesus Christ, like, this show has no chill. And I absolutely loved just how good this episode looked. The episode kicks off in a pretty typical fashion. You're seeing what we typically associate with minor fights in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Good movements, old man's kicking some ass, not quite as fast given the barriers and everything, but it looks good. But when you really get into the Rimuru fight, that was drop dead gorgeous, and I feel like that's just getting started. Rimuru ended up activating Gluttony, and seemingly faded out of being aware of whatever is about to happen. So, you know, it kind of feels like the happy-go-lucky slimeball adventurers are about to become monstrous, ravaging as we kill and destroy any in our way. I mean, maybe we won't go that extreme, but it kind of feels like that could easily happen. And the worst part is, too, is that this is a character that Rimuru wanted to help, and all the way up until this point in the anime, when he's wanted to help someone, the way he ended up beating them was either A, one of his allies would be stronger, or B, he would be able to talk his way out of it, because up until that point, it just kind of made sense given the people he was interacting with. They thought he was someone else, or they saw the benefit in aiding them, or he did something to help them, but in this case, this is a monster that you are tasked to kill, and I love how throughout the episode, we have Rimuru talking to the Great Sage, right? And then would use that information towards her. And she would be saying, how are you supposed to know this? Kind of giving me the indication that maybe she has a similar ability in her own head, given this fact that she's pretty much analyzing everything and predicting movements and things like that. Granted, she also isn't limited by the barrier, but still, it's very interesting to see the similarities, and it's like, if this was season 1, you would think, oh, I know exactly how this fight's gonna end. Given that this is season 2 and the entire village is being burned to flame, I mean, it feels like there could very well be bad things happening. And even if this character doesn't end up dead, and even if Rimuru doesn't end up dead, others very well probably are. I mean, there's just a moment where Datta is just sticking his life on the line, just doing everything he can. He's getting impaled, he's getting curb stomped. It's just, to see a character like that who's so noble and just, and while there's these funny and goofy moments with characters like him, to see what's happening, it's like, that is not what deserves to be happening here. If anyone deserves to get their head impaled into the ground, it's the Three Stooges. I mean, I gave them the benefit of the doubt last week, saying the one character, maybe. He's a little more quiet, doesn't seem as scummy. No, they're all scummy. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I wish they never existed. I am glad they existed. We can't have a show with conflict without characters that make us upset. You need to make the viewer upset. That's why characters like the Three Stooges from the Rising of the Shield Hero, or in the case of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, you wouldn't have it any other way. They infuriate you, and while you wish for their doom, the longer they're there, the more entertained you'll be, as painful as that entertainment might be for you personally. This episode, I think, was, for as insane as it was, it feels like it's just getting started. It's kind of weird because this is generally what you would see in the first couple of episodes of most season 2, but like I said, you had to play catch up because this was never originally designed to be more than one season, and then it became more than one season before the first season ever wrapped up, so we had to play catch up. And while it does kind of suck knowing we only get a handful of more episodes, we get half of the first core before having to wait 3 months for the second core, I am so happy to see the quality that episode 6 laid out. And if this is just the intro to the insanity, I am here for it. Blood, carnage, pain, despair, happiness, if there even is any, I am here for it all, and this was an episode that knocked my socks off. I loved the animation, I loved the voice acting, I just loved this episode, and I loved Slime. Like seriously, I knew there was going to be some insanity in this season, and I heard so many people hyping up season 2 as being like, hey, even if you thought Slime had no stakes, keep your eyes peeled on this season, it's going to be breathtaking. But even now, the intro to the breathtakingness is blowing me away. I can't even begin to imagine how this first core is going to wrap up, and if this type of momentum is going to carry over into the second core, which I imagine it will, even if it's a different type of momentum, still, like, Slime is on a roll, and as someone who loved the first 5 episodes of this season, this feels like we're just getting into even bigger and better territory, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I would be so interested in hearing, what did everyone personally think of this week's episode? Did you see how bad it was coming? Or were you kind of like me saying like, yeah, it's going to look bad, but we're not expecting the whole village to be burst aflame within minutes of the episode kicking off. So let me know whatever you're feeling down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, and hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.